well, let's get the ball rolling. I'd like to welcome everybody to our Saturday webinar today. Gosh, it seems like a long time. We've missed you. I hope you've missed us. But we're glad to be back on here, and it's been great not having to do these, honestly, every single week. And we've been doing some other things on those Saturdays, and so it's been very, very productive. We've got a great webinar lined up today, and I'd like to welcome you all to it. We're really going to get into some stuff that I think you're going to find is a lot of fun. So let's get the ball rolling here, and of course we've got to show some pictures here. And joining me, of course, on the call, the co-host, the better half, the one that really does all the work around the office. Terry, are you there?
Yes, I am, Art. Thanks so much.
All right, so here we are, and I just wanted to show you a few of our latest pictures. You can see quite a variety of things here. In the top left-hand corner, you'll see a group of very, very powerful women from the Elite Summit. That was a dinner at the Elite Summit. We were lucky enough to go there in January, and you'll see Terry and Barbara Schmidt. We've got Beverly Hollister, Grace Dick, and Carolyn Johnson. Now, that's a powerhouse if I ever seen one. And so a lot of fun out there. The bottom right-hand corner, we had to show you this picture because, you know, after the kind of winter we've had here in Washington, blue sky has been very in demand, and you'll see us sunbathing with our clothes on. It was not warm enough to take our clothes off, but we didn't care, and actually you can see me there. I've still got my socks on. We're trying to catch some rays, and this picture was taken by a staff member that thought it was hilarious. We were out, there's only about 64 degrees, but that's sunbathing weather if you're from Washington. And you can see me with one of my patches. We're actually got some grapes. These are actually wine grapes, Mourvedre wine grapes from a winemaker here, and we're actually making some grape juice there. So we had a lot of fun down there in Phoenix, didn't we, Terry?
Oh, it really was. You know, it's a wonderful time to actually get together with the leaders, and it's just such a low-key thing because there's no real work there. It's called communication with the leaders and, you know, bonding with them, and we really do have a wonderful time those few days. And just so you know, with Art doing that grape jelly that I was doing, I do put him to work down here.
Yeah, we have to show some pictures of what it looks like when the summer is on here. And just wanted to show you some of these beautiful pictures of our yard. In the bottom left-hand corner, actually, this is our daughter, who is a personal chef, was visiting. And it was so wonderful to be able to bring her over, and she actually served us like an official catered kind of dinner here. And you can see us there with steam rolling off of the plate. It was a beef bourguignon that she'd labored over, and it was so nice to be able to help her get herself resettled here, just coming back from the UK.
It really was a wonderful time to be able to have her. She spent a couple weeks with us, and she showed me her cooking skills, and I showed her mine. And, you know, I'm called old school cooking, and she's called French cooking. So we do make a big difference. And also those flowers are amazing because that is my passion, you know, our yard and what we are able to do. So I really do enjoy doing my flowers.
Yeah, and this is what I usually look like when I'm working with the slippers on. In fact, that's exactly what I look like today. I even put my red shirt on for you today. I had my blue one on yesterday. But I'll just wanted to give you a little contrast here. This is what it looked like a few weeks ago back there. So you can see we had a big winter. But wasn't it nice? I mean, we did not have to leave the house. We were actually just stayed home for like 10 days. And just hunkered down in the snow, and you know, we did not have to leave, and so we were just like snowed in. It didn't matter. We still had our income, the phone. We could still work our business. Isn't that the wonderful thing about a home business? When you have a snowstorm ahead, you don't even miss a beat. It's just a little commute from the coffee machine over into the office, Terry.
It's a wonderful thing. You know, at Christmas time, we had the 10 days being snowed in, and our son was here from Panama, and we did not go out the whole 10 days. And we just had the gate locked and shut, and away we went, played cards, and had a good time.
Yeah, so what's happening here in the economy, right? Isn't it pretty wild out there? I don't think any of us in our lifetimes have ever seen anything like this. And so it creates a lot of opportunity for those that can seize the vision and see it. So while economic confidence is down, our business does very, very well. And this is an article from Rod Cook. I think I showed this to you before, but he says, hot times ahead when recession hits the economy, network marketing booms, and even has a link here to a CNBC video on how well MLM and direct sales has done in a downward economy. And so, of course, you you've got to really start thinking about creating your own economic recovery plan. I don't think that there's anyone out there that feels like their job is 100% safe. And I don't think that you can rely on the government to bail you out financially. And so we really have a solution for those that are looking for a home business. And I can tell you right now, and this is almost sad, but I will say this, that there are actually more people, just about every single person you know would love to have another income stream, or in fact are thinking about how can they create more income. You know, if you want to solve your economic problem, it's not about reducing expenses and trying to cut your piece of pie up into smaller pieces. It's about expanding your pie so you have more income. That's how you deal with this economy. You don't cut back on your expenses, you increase your income. Just about everybody you know wants more income, and you have a very simple solution, you know. You have what they're looking for. And so the question is, who are those people that you're looking for, and how can I find them? And so we're going to go into a lot of that today, looking for the right people. And in fact, I was just reading a book, and it said that if you want to have a successful business, you should be very, very clear on what your customer and who your customer is. What is the ideal customer? Who is it that you're really looking for? What is it that you really want, right? And so why not look for what it is that you want? And what do we all want in network marketing? What do we want? Obviously, we want very influential people that know a lot of people, who have vision, who have determination, and are wanting to grow a network. That's what we want, isn't it? So why not look for what we want? And so I'd like to bring a guest on here that is going to help us go through a little process. Jen Mercado, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Art.
Hey, Jen, you're going to laugh at some of these pictures I threw together here because we have a lot of fun, and this is from a previous convention here. You can see Jay. I mean, he'd be laughing if he saw that picture. Jay and Jen in the top right-hand corner in their Superman outfit. That was at one of the dance parties, and you can see down in the left-hand corner some of Jen's team. I don't even want to tell you who some of those bandits are there in that picture, but Jen, welcome to the call. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm doing wonderful. Thanks.
You know, Jen, we went through a great little exercise, and for all of you listening here, please grab a piece of paper and a pen, and we're going to walk you through the same exercise that we brought Jen through. But Jen, just before we do that, why don't you give folks a little idea of your background, why it is you're building a Xango business, or maybe we should leave that until after the questions. But, you know, what is it that's got you excited about Xango?
Well, you know, I have a 5-year-old and another one on the way. And it's always been my passion before I even started a family to be home with my family, be a stay-at-home mom. So that really is what excites me, what drives me. And now with Glimpse, I'm very, very excited to continue my business.
Okay, so everybody, I hope you've got a piece of paper and a pen, because I'm going to be asking a series of questions, and I want you to write down the answers to these questions for yourself. So Jen is going to be my guinea pig, and we were doing a leadership meeting, as I said, a couple of weeks ago for 15 of Jen's downline up in the peninsula here, and I picked on Jen because I knew her and she has a good sense of humor, to ask these questions. And these are candidate interview questions from the Xango Pro system, and I've been using these as part of three-way calls. And so I'm going to walk you through this as if this was a live interview that I was doing. And it really helps. This thing is really designed for two things: to help open people's minds to where they're at, and also open their minds for what you have. Okay? So, Jen, I'm going to walk through these questions. And what I want you to do, everybody that's listening, I want you to write down a number as I give you these questions, and then after the number, write yes or no. And we're going to go through this very, very quickly here, so I want you all ready with your pens and papers, okay? And, Jen, we're going to start with you then. I'm going to ask you the questions, and I want everybody else to fill in. So, Jen, and this is what we went through the other day. So this will only take about 90 seconds. Jen, so do you like the work that you do every day? Yes or no? This is number one.
No.
No. Okay. Number one, no. Number two, Write down number 2, folks. Do you like your work environment?
No.
Number 3, do you like your company and agree with all of their methods?
No.
Number 4, are you earning the amount that you want?
No way.
That's about what you said last time. Number 5, are you earning what you're worth?
No. Nope.
Okay. Number 6, can your career grow where you are?
No.
No. Number 7, is your job challenging?
No.
Not even a little bit?
No. It's not.
Okay, number 8, is there a lot of variety in your job?
No.
Okay. Number 9, do you see yourself with the same company 10 years from now?
No, not at all.
Not at all. So do you see yourself 20 years from now? No, not at all. Okay.
No.
That one's almost redundant, it seems to me. Number 11, do you have the life you want with your current income?
No, not at all.
Okay. Do you have enough free time for your family?
No.
Do you meet interesting people in your job?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, okay.
But no.
Do you have only one source of income?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Well, no,
Well,
not
no,
really, right?
No.
Okay. Well, that's good, actually. So, basically what we're saying is that if you answer no to only 1 or 2 of these questions, then you're happy with what you're doing and there's nothing much we can do. If you answered no to 3 to 5 questions, then you definitely need to talk. And if you answered no to 6 or more questions, then you obviously are a good candidate for what we have here. And Jen, I think you might have had 12 no's out of 14.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we immediately go into the second set of questions. I would immediately like to ask the following questions to see if you're the type of person we are looking for. Number 1, do you enjoy talking to people?
Yes.
Number 2, do you enjoy sharing your ideas with others?
Yes.
Number 3, is it important for you to make more money?
Absolutely.
Okay. Number 4, is it important for you to be independent?
Yes.
Number 5, would you like to have some tax advantages?
Of course.
Okay. Number 6, are values and ethics important to you?
Yes.
Okay. Does helping others make you feel good?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Do you like to be challenged?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want variety in your work?
Yes.
Jen, are you a leader?
Yes.
Do you like the idea of unlimited income potential?
Absolutely.
Okay. Would you like to travel and be able to deduct the costs?
Yes.
Okay, and the final question, are you the type of person who would set aside 10 to 20 hours a week for the next 12 months to improve your financial situation?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'd say you're an excellent candidate, Jen.
Woohoo.
Jen, I just want to talk with you for a minute, because when we were at that meeting that Saturday a couple weeks ago, I had said to Art in the car on the way down that we knew we were going to do this presentation because we'd gotten this card from John Gotzik at the Elite Summit, and he laminated all of our cards. And so it was very powerful when I was at the front of the room watching your group, your 15 people. You were standing up, and Art was asking you these questions. And the people, it was like an aha moment. It was like a real wake-up time for your people and for you. I watched you because Jen has now just found out that she's pregnant for the second little one, and she does want to stay home and be a stay-at-home mom. So Jen has a lot of passion right now to make her Xango business grow. She's a 5K, and she wants premiership real fast. And so it was really interesting to watch all of your people go, oh, my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
And you were so animated that day in telling your yes and your no. And your people, your group could feel everything because they know you. You're all friends, and family and what have you. And so it was really amazing to watch this. And so I had watched Art actually do this with some three-way calls. And I was in the living room, and Art was in the den doing three-way calls with people. And he did this card, and he did it kind of in a more subtle way as he brought the questions up, that he was going to ask the people these questions. And it was like you could feel those people really got it, like, gosh, what am I doing in this job? You're right. Can I put 10 to 20 hours aside and do Xango? Yes. Do I want financial freedom for my family or want to change my life? Do I want to be more free with my time? Of course I do. And so it really made a big impact. And so I just want to thank you, Jen, for giving us the opportunity to introduce that to your team.
Yes, well, you're welcome. Thank you very much.
What was it like for you, Jen?
It was very powerful. It's one thing to think these things in your head and to go through these types of questions in your head, but to actually, say them out loud and hear myself, and with my whole group, the 15 of them, and with you guys, it was very powerful. It was eye-opening.
Yeah, eye-opening. Yeah, it was like everybody kind of took kind of an inner gasp. So anyway, thanks a lot, Jen, for just popping on and help us run through that exercise. I hope all of you out there enjoyed it and continued on. So thanks a lot, Jen. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thanks for inviting me.
Okay, so let's get on with it. That's from the Xgo Pro system. I wanted to talk a little bit about John Gottschalk and Xgo Pro. A lot of questions about what is Xgo Pro. And so I've created my own definition for you so you can understand what it's all about. Xgo Pro is a training mentoring system custom created specifically for Xango by John Gottschalk, an industry expert, to teach business builders the skills and mindset required to create life-changing incomes with Xango. And so it's a very powerful system. And I'm excited because I know that a lot of people that come into this business are really not well prepared for it. We attract a lot of people coming out of the job market, for instance, that really don't have any business experience. And, of course, Xango has always been a leader in attracting people from outside of our industry. So we have people without any network marketing experience, and they don't have the mindset for success, and they need to get it. And so now we have a system. And John really calls himself a retention expert. And how important is retention? I had this light bulb moment at the Elite Summit as I was thinking about Xgo Pro, and it's taken us a while to get to where we are and be this enthusiastic about it. We've had to listen and watch and learn just like a lot of you out there. But I had this light bulb moment. I realized that, a business builder that quits can be absolutely devastating to a new business builder, If you have somebody that drops out and gives up, it can be really disheartening. And we had this particular part of our organization. It was basically a 20K that was very, very weak. And they had this 5K distributor who was a chiropractor, and they were so excited about the potential for this chiropractor, and he was talking about 500K, and he was a big business builder. And I don't know what happened, I can't really tell you exactly what happened, but suddenly the chiropractor just decided to quit and give up on his business. And that was the final straw for that leader. That was it. That was the last straw that basically collapsed that organization. One person quitting. And so Xgo Pro is about retaining our business builders and having them still building 12 months from now. How important is that? So it's a great program. It's a monthly subscription where you get basically 4 CDs per month, and plus a lot of other things. He's teaching us how to put on events and doing a lot of coaching and stuff like that. So it's very, very powerful. XGoPro.com. You can sign up there. Now, I want everybody else to also get a piece of paper and a pencil again. And I want you to draw this out on a piece of paper, draw a horizontal line, and at the left side of the line, I want you to put the letter B. And on the right side of the line, I want you to put the P there, just like I'm showing you here, because this is something that I realized recently. And so if we were to look at this drawing here, and we were to say that this is like a graph, and this is number 1 here, so put number 1 there at that end of the line, and then at the other end of the line, I want you to put 100. See how I can draw with this little machine here? Okay, that's pretty good. We got the little 100 there. And so, to me, this B, of course, in this description represents business, and P represents product, okay? And so I venture to say that in our organization, we've been very, very product-oriented. We love products, and we love our juice. Believe me, we have the most incredible product line now in the industry, no question about it. So we've been very, very product-oriented. And so I'm going to ask you guys to participate with me on this, but in my view, in our organization, I think that if this is 100% product, I think we have been running around 85 or 90% product-first communications with new candidates. So what I'm talking about is leading with health concerns, leading with the idea of the mangosteen fruit, and your whole emphasis is with the product, okay? And not really focused on looking for business builders. In fact, you could say that some of you have been trying to build a business with customers by bringing in customers that want to use the product and then looking to convert those customers into the business. And that's a strategy that has worked very, very well in the past. In today's economy, I believe we have got to shift here to more balance between the product and the business. And ultimately, and I'm not talking about suddenly going from here over to here, where now you're just going to talk about business. And in any event, even if you're business focused, you're still going to talk about the product, right? I mean, the product is part of our business. But it's about your intention, isn't it? It's about looking for the right people. And why not look for what it is that you really want, you know? And I think we all want some customers, and we all want to help some people with the product. But we can't put, at this stage in the economy, 80 to 90% of our effort towards getting customers. We've got to learn how to bring people into the business and create more of a balance here between the product and the business. We have to start moving in this direction, So we're going to have to get better at what it is that we do if we're going to do that. So I want to talk to you, and I was hoping to have this couple on. We'll look to get them on a future call. And so this is a couple that we met at the convention. Some of you were there, would have heard them. We happened to meet them backstage because we were presenting on the same day. Regina and Diego, they were from Mexico City. I think they have a place out at Cancun here. As you can see, they're a very young couple, I think, in their 20s. 200K premieres from Mexico, okay? Now, a 200K in Mexico where people, the average income is around $500 a month is like rock star income. I mean, 200K premiere in Mexico, $500 annual income. And so I think we can learn from people who have built a huge successful business with people having low incomes. Can't we learn how to deal with that in an economy now when people are worried about income? What do they do here? They always lead with the business. You cannot sign up somebody for a case of juice that's going to cost them $150 when they only make $500 a month. And they know, what do they have to do? They know that they have to get this person into at least a break-even situation immediately. And so everything has to be speeded up. When you're bringing in a business builder that you know doesn't have a lot of extra money, you've got to get them into action immediately. And when they're signing people up, I can tell you this, if they're signing up somebody today, Saturday, once the application has been signed or the computer button has been pushed, they're saying, okay, now let's start making your list. And the list is created the same day that they sign up. And they start talking about who they're going to talk to the same day that they sign up. And their goal in Mexico is to sign up enough people that that product is paid for before it ever hits the door. And that's how they do it. Now, I'm not saying that we can jump and quickly become like they do in Mexico from where we are today, but we have to think faster, quicker, getting people into action, more business-oriented in this kind of an economy. And so some points, and a lot of this is from the Xango Pro system. You can't lead with the business alone. John talks a lot about that. How are you going to approach your neighbor with the business, as John likes to say, when he's seen you taking the garbage out in your underwear? You know, he does not respect you as a business person. And your friends, if you don't have a lot of income, how are they going to respect you as a business person? So when you're wanting to lead more with the business and get more into the business side of the business, you've got to have a system. You've got to show them your My Mangosteen system. You've got to show them teamwork. You've got to show them that you've got credibility, and this is where you've got to bring in the third party, okay? You've got to bring in the third party. You've got to bring in your upline sponsor, the out-of-town expert. You've got to introduce them immediately to third-party expert. You won't be able to do it alone. So you've got to work very closely with your lines of sponsorship. You've got to be very, very connected. And we're going to show you later what we've been doing in the last month that has been life-changing for our business. Very, very simple way that you can work much closer with your line of sponsorship. And you've got to promote your upline leaders that are successful, and you've got to identify and start thinking about creating your own kind of dream team. See, you want to raise the bar with your thinking. What is it that you really want? You want a business builder, and you should actually write down. It would be such a wonderful exercise to write down on a piece of paper after this call exactly the kind of business builder that you were looking for. What kind of person? I actually wrote it down in my planner yesterday on my to-do list. My to-do list for Friday: manifest a new, caring, dynamic power builder. And actually, I prefer it to be a husband and wife team where they're very evenly balanced. And I'm dreaming about a couple where they can do training and they can do coaching calls, and we can learn from each other, and they will help raise the game for our entire organization. Start to visualizing who they might be and what they might look like. So here's something also I want you to think about very, very carefully here, because this is a light bulb moment I learned from Chris Peterson. That's Chris and Renee, the creator of MyMangosteen.com, because I've decided I need to increase our connection with our lines of sponsorship, and gosh, guess what? I've been learning from them. And so Chris said something to me that was just a light bulb moment. And I want you to think about this. Every contact that you make with somebody, a candidate, every communication that you make with somebody that you would like to bring in to the Xango family is training. Everything you do is training them on what to do. So, are you training them on what to do or what not to do? And so think about the implications of that. So in other words, if you have somebody that you're talking to about the business and you do not talk about your upline sponsor, you don't promote your line of sponsorship, and you don't get them on a three-way call, and we're going to tell you exactly how to work these three-way calls, you are teaching them that's how you do the business, right? So by not having a three-way call, you're telling them that you're showing them and demonstrating them that three-way calls are not how we do the business. By not mailing out an information packet to them and CDs, you are teaching them how to do the business or how not to do it. So every communication that you have with these new candidates and people you're looking to bring into the business have to be well thought out, don't they? Because you're teaching them exactly what they're going to do. And so what are you teaching them? What you want them to do? And this, I used to say you've got to be the leader that you want others to follow. And this is really what we're talking about here. And so that's why, people will say to me, well, I can't get any of my team to do three-way calls. And I'll say, well, did you bring them in on a three-way call? Did you introduce them to the upline on a three-way call? Well, no, but I want them to do them now. You see, it doesn't work that way. You've got to do these things in the process of your communications. And, of course, I just kudos to Chris and Renee and his whole team for the incredible job they did on My Mangosteen. And you can customize your front page here. It's absolutely amazing. A new business video. We've got Audrey Foster there, one of our team members, and Chris Jordan, Sandy Bennett and Jim. Loretta was on there. I think Marnie, lots of our team members on that video. But you can customize this the way that you want it. So really kudos to Chris Peterson for that. So we're going to talk about the how and the why of the three-way call. If this is so important, how come it's so underutilized? Well, I'll tell you this. There's a couple kinds of things that I have noticed. Verbiage can be very, very important, how you say things. And so I have created certain kinds of words and phrases that have helped us in the business. Let's review some of them. Would you like to get a retail or wholesale? Okay? That's using a term. I never use the word distributor, especially with customers, right? I talk about wholesale. If you say, would you like to become a distributor, you can talk to a customer for 10 minutes about why they don't have to distribute anything. So I avoid those kinds of words, right? So there's certain kind of words that are productive and some that are unproductive. If I've come to the conclusion that when you're talking to somebody on the phone, asking them if they would like to go on a three-way call is not what you want to do. It's kind of like what I say about auto ship, You have to lead where you want others to follow. They don't know anything, right? And so if you were to say to somebody, would you like to go on auto ship, most of them will say no. If you'll say to somebody, would you like to get on a three-way call with my sponsor, most of them will say no. So you have to make sure that you're positioning this correctly. And so I never ask people, do you want to go on auto ship? I tell them, this is what we're going to do. And it's the same thing with the three-way call. Here's what we're going to do. And so I'd like to run through some of the ways. So I actually don't want you to be using the word three-way call. And what do you do instead? You say, I'd like you to meet somebody. Because as John talks about in his training, people don't want to go to meetings, and they don't want to go even to conference calls, or they don't want to do three-way calls, really. They like to meet people, and the only way to get them to meet people is to get them to want to meet people by edifying that person and telling a story, right? And so the meet me call is really what I would like to call this, the meet me call, or to meet my sponsor call. And so it would go more like this. Instead of saying, John, gosh, I'd like to get you on a three-way call with my sponsor, Mark, I would say, hey, listen, John, you've got to meet my sponsor, Mark. I mean, this is an amazing guy, works from home, has built this huge income. He knows a lot about the compensation plan. I know you have questions with that. Can you hold on a second? If you got a couple minutes, just a second. I'm going to get him on the line right now. And boom, you drop that line. You see what? I didn't ask him. I told him, this is what we're going to do. Have you got a few minutes? Okay? Now, also, and I learned this from Anna Mann on one of her lead calls the other night, if you're working into your warm market, the three-way call, and like I said, this is a three-way call as I'm describing what it is, but these aren't the words I want you to use. That needs to be promoted as the next step in the conversation while you're still in the first conversation. In other words, if you're talking to somebody today and you're going to send them to the website and you're going to mail them an information packet and they're interested in what you're doing, then you're going to say, hey, listen, okay, today is Saturday. I'm going to get this packet out to you on Monday. Here's what we're going to do. On Thursday or so, I'm going to get you on the phone. You've got to meet my business partner, Mark, on Thursday night. I'm going to call you back. I want you to meet this guy. He really knows way more about it than I do. I'm just really getting started here. But this guy's an expert, and he's done very, very well. We have a whole team here. I want to introduce you to some of the team on Thursday night. So when I call back, I'm going to get you on the phone. So you're actually already setting up what you're going to do. If you set that up, it will go sooner. So the how and the why of the three-way call, the how really has to do with edifying and bringing in the out-of-town expert. And you're going to need to get good at this if you want to move your business over to more towards the business, okay? And then set up the three-way call and get them rolling right from the very, very beginning. Now, there's other ways to use three-way calling, Terry. I think you're going to talk about sometimes you want to do follow-up and follow-up calls with the three-way call as well.
Well, Art is so right in this because the last month and a half, I've been doing three-way calls for my follow-ups, and they've been very powerful. So, I've had our leaders phone me with a product person, okay, to do a three-way because they're wanting to understand the product better or get better results. And what I found out this last week, because I was doing quite a few of them each day, is I found out that really what that person is doing, our leader is phoning me, I'm classified as the out-of-town expert. So, for instance, her neighbor or her cousin is maybe on the phone with her, and they've called me in to troubleshoot some of the product issues that they may be having. What I found out is, of course, they're not taking enough product. For instance, this lady was having arthritis. She was only on 2 ounces. Remember how important follow-up is? She is not going to get the results that she wants on 2 ounces with having arthritis. And so I always say the same thing. Healthy people take 2 to 3 ounces a day. That would be 1 with each meal. People with all kinds of health challenges would take 4 to 6 ounces a day. That would be 2 with each meal. And remember, the more we split these ounces up, the better results we'll get. So what I was getting from these 3-way calls on follow-up with our downline is, yes, they were doing follow-up, and yes, they were doing a good job, but they weren't asking totally the right questions. But what was really happening, because I was the out-of-town expert, because I was not the friend or the neighbor or the cousin, they were listening to me more intently. They were taking it all in. And what I was really doing is, not only am I helping that lady, but I'm now training our downline. And so it was a very powerful thing that I've taken on to do. So that is definitely another way to do 3-ways.
Yeah, and the other thing that I have used in the past is what I call the Columbo technique for setting up the 3-way, or what I call the meet me call, or the meet your upline call. And it's the Columbo. If you remember what Columbo was like, he always was just ready to finish the murder interview with he knew who the murderer was, and he was just leaving and getting ready to go out of the door, and he'd turn around just before he's ready to finish. The guy thought the interview was over. He said, "Oh, one more thing." And that's kind of what you want to do. I like to leave that appointment to set up the meet me call right at the end of the conversation. It's like, "Oh, yeah, okay, listen, okay, before we get off here, listen, let's set up a follow-up here. When are we going to get back together here? So Tuesday, let's see, Tuesday at 6, does that work? I got to write this in my calendar before I forget. And, when are we going to get back together to talk about this again? And by the way, I want you to meet somebody. I've got somebody you've just got to meet, incredible person and edify and so on." And so that's a little technique that I talked about before. So teamwork makes the dream work, and you've really got to get this going right now. And I just wanted to tell you that everything that you do has a mastery to it. And I got this picture up here because Terry thinks this is kind of funny. But, I mean, it just shows you that even simple tasks like trying to figure out how to butter a toasted bagel in Hawaii with hard butter out of the freezer, is a mastery. And the first time you do it, it's almost impossible. But even that, after 3 or 4 days of consistent learning and growing, and where to put the butter and where to position the bagel and when to put it in the toaster and how to get the whole process, I got very, very good at buttering a bagel with hard butter. And so a lot of these skills are the same things. The more you practice them, the easier they get. Now, I promise to give you some action steps that will increase your line of sponsorships. And if you've been a part of the Xango Pro, you know that John Gottschalk talks about the golden hour and how important it is before you go to bed at night and when you get up in the morning to reprogram your subconscious mind. But one of the things, and when I first heard John's very first audio, I was very intrigued by this little system that he talked about, because I felt like this is the biggest weakness in your business, is a lack of daily action. And so you get on this webinar here, and it sounds interesting, and you learn a lot, and you see some nice pictures from Art and Terry, but then Monday rolls around, and you haven't got any plans or what you're going to do that day, and so nothing gets done on Monday, and Tuesday comes up, and, oh, yeah, that Xango thing here, yeah, I got to do something with that. Really, I should call my sponsor maybe tomorrow. Wednesday comes up. Oh, gosh, yeah, I was going to order some of those CDs. Yeah, okay, next week, I'm going to get out my business next week. Just going to wait a little bit longer. Let me listen to some more conference calls. And there's very little actual action that takes place by most of the people probably on this webinar. And I could be wrong, but let me ask you some questions to see if I'm right or not. How many brand new people did you talk to this week? Brand new people about Xango. What's the total of brand new people? How many three-way calls did you do this week from Monday until today? How many three-way calls did you introduce somebody to your upline? And how many three-way calls did you do for your downline this week? How many information packets did you mail out this week? You see what I'm saying? How many events have you booked this week? How many people have you sponsored so far this year? See, isn't this where the rubber meets the road? The daily actions, okay? And so if you don't figure out a way to get into daily action, nothing much is going to happen. You know, whatever you got, as the saying goes, you know, keep doing the same thing over and over again. It's insanity to think you're going to get a different result. And so so what he talks about is making a list each night before you go to bed on what you're going to do to build your business tomorrow. And you might write a list down of 4 things that you're going to do. You might write a list down of 4 people that you're going to contact. And by writing it down the night before, you start to lay the pathways of the subconscious mind to help when you actually are ready to pick up the phone. And so you've written that down. You've set an intention by writing it down. All decisions have to be made in writing. And so by writing it down on a to-do list, and actually if you could write it into a sentence, I have decided to contact John, Bill, Sally, and Jane tomorrow about Xango, and I'm going to talk to them about how this could be beneficial to them. If you were to write that down at night and set that intention before you go to bed, I'm telling you what, by the time you get up the next morning, the pathways have already been laid. So what you do the next morning then is you call your sponsor, and let's do what we call the 90-second call. We've been doing this for a month, and not everybody wants a 90-second call. Not everybody wants to be accountable. And I've had people that have quit doing the 90-second call because they don't really like to be challenged on what they're doing or not doing. So it's not for everybody, I admit it. But if you're a sincere business builder and you've got dreams of financial freedom, these are the kind of things that you've got to do, is set up that 90-second call with your sponsor. And that's when you call them up and I say, what are you doing today? And then they tell me what they're going to do today. And so they're being accountable. They're setting their intention. They've got a list. They've got some plans. But the other brilliant thing that comes out of this is I also get a pulse on what they're doing, and I can see how we can be of assistance. And from that conversation, we have set up all kinds of more plans and ideas and three-way calls and conference calls, and all kinds of things come up from those short little calls. And sometimes, yes, Terry, they can go up to 5 minutes, I know.
We like to hold them under 5 minutes. I call them 3-minute calls. 90 seconds is really, really short. I know that. But because Art's talking to them and saying, hey, I haven't met Jane yet. Can you get her on the phone? I've got an opening around 2 o'clock. Could we do a 3-way call with her? And sure enough, and Art's morning is filled for the first hour and a half. It's filled with 90-second calls. And then the afternoon is filled with 3-way calls and stuff that he has to do. And he's been really good at making his list every night. I mean, I'm naturally a paper list person. So that comes natural to me. But Art has had to work at this, and he's done a really great job. But I've noticed the last month how the team is working tighter together, more closely together, and those that are wanting to have a life-changing experience with their Xango business because they know that they want this. They've really stepped to the plate. And they have had to say that now we've held them accountable because they know that if they get me on the phone sometimes, and a lot of times they will, for that 90-second call, I'll say, how did you make out yesterday? Let's take 1 minute and talk about yesterday, what you did. Were you able to contact Jane, and did you get a hold of Bob? And how did you make out with the new person on the glimpse that you're going to meet with? So I've really held them accountable. And then we go into today's list. And that has really changed a lot. And I think it's also changed their mindset as well. Wouldn't you say, Art?
Yeah, I think it's been really powerful, and also, it's something that everybody can do, right? I don't care if you've got a job or not. It doesn't matter. I mean, anybody can pull 90 seconds away on their way to work to call their sponsor, or at a coffee break or a lunch break. And from that conversation, you want to know how to set up these three-way calls. You've got to know when your sponsor is available. I mean, it's a time to get organized, and it's also a time to support each other, right? Because we're lonely out here in home business land, and so it's a way for us to connect with one another. I think it's been absolutely powerful for those that have been doing it. So call your sponsor and tell them you want to set up a 90-second call. And if your sponsor isn't in the game, find his sponsor. And if his sponsor isn't in the game, find his sponsor. You've got to work with your lines of sponsorship. You might be surprised. They might be excited to hear from you. And if all else fails, find a sideline to do a 90-second call with. It doesn't matter. Just somebody that you can communicate with and get this going in your downline. I'm telling you, it is life-changing. And, and maybe there's days that you might miss, but keep it as an intention, and when you lose your focus on it, get back to it. We do them 5 days a week, and they've been very, very powerful. I want to jump into another topic here very quickly to remind you, because this is something that I think a lot of people don't understand. What is it that we're really doing here? What are we really doing here? Are we selling products? Well, kind of, but not really. Are we signing people up? Well, kind of, but not really. So what is it we're really doing is we're building a network. Isn't that what we're doing? We're building a network. And what is a network? You're making connections with people. You develop relationships. You're building teams. You're working together. And remember these diagrams I showed last year of what is a network and what it looks like? This would be a picture of somebody that just signs up people for the juice. This is somebody that goes out and gets product customers over here on this side, right? And none of these people tell anybody else about it. So that's not really much of a network, is it? And I've seen people do this, sign up people, sign up people, sign up people, sign up. Oh, they can sign up lots of people, but they don't have any idea or don't care to help these people sign up other people. So that's not much of a network. This is a bit of a network here. As you can see, this is kind of like a network, and this is more like what you're going to see. But really a network is about your three and their three and their three and building teams, looking for 3 or 4 people that you know, that find 3 or 4 people that they know and 3 or 4 people that they know. And this is kind of like, this is my favorite picture because I think this is what a network, this is like a 20K down in here, got lots of downlines started. Here's a new 5K over here. And so I want you to use this. I put this up as a picture because I visualize this worldwide network in the morning. And I see these lights going off as new builders come in. And this is a part of our visualization in the morning. And so we have an incredible product line and more products to come. Yes, we're moving in that direction. You're going to see, I think, some big announcements in Las Vegas. People are all over Glimpse, but they also want the rest of the product line, I think. The juice is fantastic, 365. Terry, it's an incredible product line that we have, and people want and need these products.
It's just been amazing with us working with our team the last couple of months with, of course, the newest product, Glimpse. I mean, you can get amazing results with that product, and it's been really wonderful. I have been talking with our leaders, and I've been, Art and I have done a few little meetings and what have you, and what it is we're kind of tweaking it a bit. And yes, you can do the home parties, but some of our people were not able to get the people to the parties. And so what I've suggested, and this seems to be working really well out in the field, is they're doing a lot of one-on-ones with the Glimpse. They're having them over for coffee. They're doing them face-to-face, whether it's at their home or go over to have them to your home, whichever one. And what we've really found that is working fantastic is you only do half the face, okay? That's really important, and especially with estheticians. Make sure she leaves the other half of her face, of whatever creams and stuff she's done that morning. And just do half the face with Glimpse. The reason I say that is you have to educate. This is the biggest hole that I can see happening out there in the field with blimps, is you are not educating the people. Before they put the product on, you guys, you do not hand somebody a sample and just have them slap it on their face. They have to put it on correctly. You know, you have to educate them, tell them about this flushing. You know, not many of the Filipinos actually have a flushing. And so when they get to another person, like let's say a neighbor that has very fair skin, and she does this huge flushing, it's like, whoa, what's that? You know, this is great news, because this shows that we're exercising the skin, and it's actually going to the cellular level where it's kind of like, and I love this explanation, it's like going out for a jog for 20 minutes. If the two of you went for a jog for 20 minutes and you came back, your face would be flushed, okay? It's oxygen going to the skin. Now, if you explain that in a very simple way, they'll understand that when they put that toner on, what's happening? Oh, this is my face flushing out. It's oxygenizing. Wow, I never really thought of this. And you know, you guys, some people it lasts 3 days, some people it's 3 weeks. I lasted the whole over 2.5 months. I flushed out. And I have very sensitive, very thin skin, remember. And so, you know, I mean, Art actually misses his flushing now, but his face has kind of gotten used to it. So I think that's really important, and I cannot stress the follow-up because of that toner. If you hand out a sample to someone and you send them home with it, and they use that the first day or two, and you have not phoned to check up on them to see how they're doing, and are they actually drying their face with their hand in between each set of the toner and the creams and everything, that's really important, because they're going to have, it's like building a picture and painting a picture. You know, you have to set your canvas up first. And so that's with the face. You want to do that. They'll have way better results if they let each system dry in between before they put the next one on. So I can't stress follow-up enough with blimps, even more so than with the juice, you know, because you want people to get the great results. And are they using all of the products, as in all 4 of the blimps products? So really important. So, you know, that's my feedback from the field for this month, and I'll continue doing more research with our field to see what's working. But, boy, half the face and one-on-one seems to be really working great, you guys.
Yeah, a couple things, you know, questions that people have got out there. Yes, the questions from candidate questions we talked about will be in the back office of becomingapremier.com under the download section. So you'll see it there, I believe, later on today if it's not there already. You know, one of the other things that you're going to get right now, and you got to know how to handle it, Terry, is this thing like, well, I think it's too expensive right now. I can't afford it. You know, we get that. And there's a couple ways, because I got that from a lady this week, and there's a couple ways, and you have the first way to come up with the answer, which is, what's your health worth
to you?
Yeah.
I always say that, you know, because you can always cut back on whether it's your Starbucks coffee or your Tom Hortons donuts or whatever. You know, it's like, what is your health worth to you? And I was talking to a lady the other day, and she brought that up, and I said, you know, do you really like going to the doctor and paying $150 a smack each time you've got to go in? Like, wouldn't you rather build your immune system and build your body up so that you don't have to keep visiting that doctor? You know, in the States, you pay for your medical bills, you know, so it's really important to let them aware of, like, oh, yeah, I can see what you say, you know. This is more, and all the drugs, you have to pay for your drugs. So juice is very inexpensive.
Yeah, and the other way is this, guys. Why not turn this into an opportunity? You could say something like, are you kidding me? You mean you don't have like $2 or $3 a day to take care of your health? You know what? Gosh, we have got to talk. Listen, let's set up an appointment. I got to talk to you about something. I want to show you, if you can't afford this, I mean, obviously we got to talk. And I got to show you the business side of things. I really haven't done a very good job of that. But everybody's looking for more income right now. I've got somebody I want you to meet on Thursday night that really can, you know, I mean, I'm just new too, but I looked at this and I said to myself, you know, with the way the economy is right now, I better do something because my financial situation is not going to get any better. So I decided to turn this into a business. And what are you doing on Thursday night? I want you to meet somebody, because if you can't afford this, it means we better do something right now. It's not going to get any better. You see what I'm saying? I mean, they've just opened up a door that indicates that they need more money, a financial opportunity. And so a lot of times when you get objections from people, it's how you deal with them. It's not the objection itself. It's like the flushing thing, you know? If somebody says, oh, yeah, I had my face flushed, if you were to say, really? Oh, my gosh, what happened? What did it look like? I better call my sponsor. I'll talk to the company. Let's call customer service. You've just inflamed the thing. But if somebody said to you, wow, I couldn't believe my face flushed, if you were to say, oh, yeah, fantastic, isn't it amazing? It shows that it's starting to work. Your cells are waking up.
I mean, it's just amazing when people actually talk about the flushing. I say, this is wonderful. This is a good thing. It shows the product is working. You know, it's all on how you present it to your people. And so it's very important to look at some of those ways of talking to people.
Oh, gosh, the time has flown, Terry. We're just about out of time. I've got to talk to you about this book very briefly. Particularly the first half of this book is incredible. The answer, actually, the ghostwriter on this was John David Mann of Xango 20K. The phenomenal book of the first part, especially about how to reprogram your mind. Just really in-depth. I love this book. One of the best things I've read in terms of how to change your mind and use it to apply it to business that I have ever read. And highly recommend that. Get that book and go through some of the exercises in the front of it. More to talk about that book later. You know, and I just wanted to say, you know, we have this squirrel out here. And I really hardly have time for this squirrel story, but I can tell you this. We had a squirrel that twice broke into a garbage can and actually figured out how to peel off a little sort of weak spot in the lid of the garbage can and break into it twice in order to get the seeds out from inside it.
He took the top off
and
little
ate it.
Circle right off where you pull the lid up. He chewed around the whole circle of that. That circle is about 4 inches. He chewed around the whole thing, took that off, and climbed right in to eat the seeds by himself.
Yeah, and so how do you explain this? I take the seeds out of the garbage can, and then I put duct tape on the top of it to cover the hole up because I didn't want the mice to get into it. I took the garbage can back out and stuck it right where it was before. Now there's no seeds in it, and he hasn't touched it. And so if that squirrel has enough connection, you can't, you know, with a greater mind and with the universal mind to know that there's no seeds in there, surely we can use our minds to create magical things as well. And so how to excel in today's marketplace, guys, you have got to raise your game, right? It's a competitive marketplace for people's dollars out there. Every store owner out there is doing everything they can to keep their customers, to increase their level of service. Are you competing in this marketplace? You've got to make more calls in this marketplace. You've got to send out more info packs and not less. I don't get it. The traditional business people are working harder, and some of the people on our team are working less hard. That does not make sense. This is your chance. You know, you got to raise your game and get better at what it is that you do. We're going to Portland next month. That's the flyer. We'll be sending that out March the 3rd. We're doing a BizOp 7 to 7:55 March the 3rd in Portland for all the people in Northwest. Bring your guests out to that. The Courtyard by Marriott. We'll be sending that out later today. Next Super Saturday, March 7th. And between now and then, we do have our leaders doing calls at this particular time of the morning. If you want to listen in, they're doing story calls of their downline, and we don't advertise them because they're team calls. But if you're on here and you want to listen in at the same time each Saturday, there's something going on. And, of course, the Las Vegas Regional had another person book it. And so there's going to be, I think, a few more tickets available now. So if there's any way you can come, Las Vegas is hot. Anything else you want to add before we close it out, Terry?
Well, you know, I just want you to all ask yourself, what are you going to do Monday morning? And make your list and, you know, be vigilant on your Xango business if that's truly what you want. Because I know there's a lot of people out there that do want to change their financial freedom. And hey, you guys, we've got a great company, a great product. You know, there's nothing else out there like this. and also always remember to help people, you know, and so that's what Art and I are doing. We're helping our downline and our teams actually rally together, and it seems to be really working really well. So I encourage you all to go to your sponsors and do your line of sponsorship so that you can be reconnected with them. I think that's really important. Have a great day.
Okay, thanks a lot, Terry. A couple quick questions here. People, if you want to dry the glimpse, a blow dryer, sure, that would work, but you can also just flap your face in front of your...
Just wave your hand.
Wave your hand in front of it. I work at any depth of level in my downline. Wherever there's leaders, I would definitely go down and work with leaders at any level of your downline right now. The name of the book is called The Answer, John Assaraf, and you can get that at Amazon.com. So anyway, thank you all. I'm going to open up the line so that we can say goodbye, and we'll see you all on the next call.